One take, one shot. This is the SmackDown review where I do it all in one take, one shot. And this is one world title belt that I'm going to give away at 20,000 subscribers. All you got to do is comment below, subscribe to the channel, and hit that bell notification. Go leave a comment on other videos too for more chances to win. All right, so SmackDown is done. It's 5:30 p.m. and SmackDown doesn't come on to 8 p.m. So what am I? Am I from the future? Am I from the future here to warn you all about impending comet that is going to destroy the world on next Tuesday? Or, and then I just happened to watch SmackDown, or am I in another country? Am I in another country because SmackDown was in Ireland, therefore it has an earlier start time based on time zone. So was I watching from Canada, or was I watching from a VPN where I can put my country to anywhere in the world and trick them to allowing me to pay only like $15 for Netflix? One of those three options are true, and yeah, there's a comet that's going to destroy the world next Tuesday. Okay, so, well, they're still working on it. The scientists, they think they have a plan. But until then, though, what about SmackDown? Should you waste your time watching it when there's so little time left on this earth because of said comet? How long can I keep the comet gag going? We shall see. But no, for real though, should you watch this? Because this SmackDown is good, bad, and boring. Good, bad, and boring. There are three good parts. The Becky Lynch promo before Tiffany comes out, amazing. And Logan Paul, John Cena, amazing. Actually, John Cena, even more amazing. And then, what was the other good part? Oh, Melo Miz. Miz, definitely hit a home run tonight. And then the bad, R-Truth. R-Truth is kind of funny, but the payoff doesn't really work out. And then there's the boring. The boring is just... no excuses for boring. No excuses for boring. At least bad, you kind of remember. Remember how bad that Tiffany Charlotte segment was? It became so bad. It's a classic now. It's a classic, and it's great. Yeah, the R-Truth thing was a little bad, but, you know, I laughed still. But, yeah, boring. Boring is just no bueno. And let's talk good first. Let's talk John Cena. We'll talk John Cena and Logan Paul, and we'll start with that because, ooh, that was good. John Cena, he's about to start talking, and then, ayo, or however, Logan Paul music, and he comes out, right? And Logan Paul, he's getting booed. He's probably the only guy that has real heat in the WWE. Sometimes Drew McIntyre, and maybe when you steal Roman's shoes. But, like, yeah, so Logan Paul cut a really good promo. I thought this was actually maybe Logan Paul's best promo, and how he just kept getting the crowd really fired up at him. I was very much impressed and was like, wow. He just cut his best promo, and then John Cena proceeded to just eviscerate him. He killed him. John Cena, this was the John Cena that we wanted to go up against Cody Rhodes. He just started ripping into him. Now, here's the thing. People come at me and will tell me that Logan Paul sucks, and Logan Paul, he's a con artist, and all these things, right? But it seems like people just repeat the same phrases at me, right? And I'm just like, I don't know, guys. You just keep... At some point, you got to change up the words you say to me. You can't just say the same catchphrases. That's like when people just keep saying, "Oh, Jey Uso only has 3 moves," right? Okay, you've said that. You said that like 30 times for the last 2 weeks. You got to tell me something new on why I shouldn't be a Jey Uso fan anymore. But no, it's 3 moves, 3 moves, 3 moves. And so they tell me that with Logan Paul. But John Cena actually tonight, he put it in words and a good argument why I shouldn't like Logan Paul. He actually made it a good case on why Logan Paul is bad for the WWE, and I loved it. John Cena, you know, there were parts that didn't really fully connect because John Cena, you know, he goes out and he's like, "You're just here to sell your product." That would have worked before WWE started to completely sell out every inch of the ring mat, to tell you the truth. Now, the ring mat wasn't like an advertisement today because, I don't know, SmackDown, they don't do that. But so yeah, plus certain things that John said, I couldn't get fully behind because of that bad heel run. It was like the pot calling the kettle black. But if we could just forget for a moment that John Cena literally had a horrible heel run, and when I say horrible heel run, I enjoyed parts of it. Just bear with me. In the grand scheme of things, it was a failure. Even if you enjoyed it, let's just be very impartial. I enjoyed parts of it. I enjoyed it, but it wasn't like the greatest thing ever. So ultimately, it's probably more of a fail than a success. But if that clouded some of what John was saying. But let's just forget about it for a second. Let's forget about TKO selling their soul. And John Cena was very much, you're a con man. It's like we feel it. We feel it. We know you're great. We know you're going to main event WrestleMania. We know all these things about you, Logan Paul, but we see through you. He was almost saying something like this, like, we can see how great you are, but we have a gut feeling that there's something off about you, that you're slimy. And that right there, that word slimy actually does fit. I've never been able to quite put my finger on this Logan Paul situation. And I think slimy is the word. Now, don't get me wrong. That's really good. Bobby Heenan was slimy. And that's what Logan Paul seems to be. He seems to be slimy. And John Cena just said, we can tell that you're not here to give it your all. You're here to take as much as you can. And you're like, yeah, he is. That's how I was during this. Now, I'm still going to be very much entertained by Logan Paul and stuff, but like this was the first time that anybody has ever said something to make me be like, yeah, maybe Logan Paul isn't good for this business. John got me to do that because he didn't just come at me with the same, oh, you're a YouTuber, oh, you're entitled, oh, you're this, oh, you're that. And John even brought up his legal issues. So John Cena cooked Logan Paul, and Logan Paul, he was rattled. I don't think they spoke about this beforehand because he looked rattled. Now later on, there is something that makes me believe that maybe they did, but like for real, John was like, I believed in you when you first got here. I came on your podcast, and he just cooked, and he cooked. I highly recommend this segment. This was good. It was good. Logan Paul did a good job, but then John Cena, like the Unseen 17, showed up, and his promo was a banger. It was a banger. Like for real, slimy. That is a perfect that is a perfect word to describe Logan Paul, because it doesn't take away from his athletic ability. It doesn't take away from how good he is on the mic. It doesn't take away from anything, but it adds to that. Yeah, he's good on the mic, but he's slimy. Yeah, he's a great athlete, but he's slimy. And you know what? Heels, they should be slimy. And that's a good trait for a heel. So this was perfect. And it finally someone said something that made me think, yeah, you know what? In the grand scheme of things, maybe Logan Paul isn't good for the business. And John Cena's the one that did it. So, kudos. I love that. And that should happen. I want my faces and heels to have just these epic confrontations of words and fisticuffs. And Logan Paul, like, after that, he's gonna talk, but then he doesn't. He knocks off John Cena's hat, kind of like it reminded me suddenly of just schoolyard kids, where one kid has been insulted so bad, roasted so bad, and he had no comeback, so now he has to, he pushes him. Yeah, well, you're stupid. Yeah, your mom. And he, knocks off John Cena's hat, and John Cena's like, yeah, whatever. And John Cena will actually eventually, he pushes him one too many times, he puts him in the AA, and that's it for that segment. Later, we'll see Logan Paul walking down the hallway, and Drew McIntyre he's like, what was that, dude? What was that? And I think the pairing of Drew McIntyre and Logan Paul, they never explained it. They never really explained it on WWE TV. I mean, I guess if you go out of your way and watch the Logan Paul podcast, within that hour, they talk a little bit about it. But like they never really explained it for WWE TV. But whatever. They're already a pairing. So they're a pairing, they're a loose alliance, they're not necessarily a tag team, they're not in a faction, but they are friends or whatever. And Drew McIntyre is loyal to his friends. And so he talked Logan Paul was like, dude, that is John Cena, but that's not Super Cena. That's not 2010 Cena. This is 2015 Cena. You got this, dude. And I like that. I actually did like Drew McIntyre. It's within his character to try to help his buddies out. And for whatever reason, Logan is his buddy, so he talked up. That allowed Logan Paul to get his confidence back. And the last shot of the night is John Cena walking out the door, and Logan Paul sucker punches him with his one lucky punch, because don't forget, he has titanium screws in his fist, so his fist is considered almost a brass knuck. And John Cena's laid out, and he's like, see you in Paris. So that was the arc of Logan Paul's story tonight. And hey, you know what? We got three different segments with them. So I'm happy with that. I wish they would do more things with multiple segments. We should totally do that. So that was the best part. Now let's double back to the beginning. The beginning of SmackDown opens with Becky Lynch. Becky Lynch is from Ireland. They are in Dublin, Ireland for the first time ever on live TV. And Becky is like saying, man, I was out there and Randy Orton looked at me when I was a kid and it made my day, made my life. And it was great. It was awesome. But do you know why? Do you know why they've never actually done a live show here? Because you don't deserve it. It was so funny. Becky got the crowd in the palm of her hand and then she eviscerated and destroyed them. And it was so hilarious. She was like, I'm a hero and I barely got any media attention. I'm aghast. I'm aghast. If you're going to use the word aghast, you got it. That's a good promo. Like, that's a good promo. And she's like, I shouldn't have to list off my hero accomplishments, but I will. My hot husband. I love how she'll always try to get her hot husband mentioned, and Seth will get his hot wife mentioned. It was good stuff. It was good stuff. And then Tiffany came out, and the good stuff became mediocre. It became mediocre. I was a big Tiffany fan earlier in the year, and I'm just like whatever. I'm to the point where I'm apathy on her, which is worse. You know, like, I would rather hate her than not have any real, like, whatever in regards to her. I just don't feel anything for her anymore. I'm just like, oh, okay, now we got a Tiffany segment. So Tiffany comes out. It was funny, though, when they're chanting Tiffy time, and Becky says, you guys disgust me, to the crowd. That was funny. They have words. Then Nia comes out, and Nia has words with Tiffany. Why Nia gets another chance? This is from someone who actually likes Nia. Why Nia gets another chance? It's beyond me. And then Jade Cargill comes out. And this is from somebody who loves Jade Cargill. Why is Jade Cargill coming out? Why is she trying to protect Tiffany? Why? Because she wants another match? Why does she deserve another match? She lost fair and square. There was not even a roll-up. There's no consideration whatsoever on Tiffany being the better woman at SummerSlam. Now, I feel Jade should have won, but all that aside, with the story that we were told, Jade lost completely clean to Tiffany Stratton. So why would Tiffany give her another title shot? Same goes for Nia, who's had like 3 or 4 from Tiffany alone, let alone other people this year. This women's division is like, it's cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. And, but regardless, tag team match playa, and we're going to have, Becky and Nia, versus Bailey, Jade and Tiffany later on. They'll have another segment too with Jade and Tiffany, but it's like, okay, cool. You guys, you want the belt, Jade. That's their whole storyline. I want the belt. I already lost, but I want the belt. And Tiffany, well, I don't know. I'm going to keep my belt. That's it. That's what we got there. What a lame storytelling. Make one of them just punch the other in the face. I don't care. Tiffany, punch Jade. Jade, punch Tiffany. One of you punch the other. Please make it interesting. We'll talk about that match later. The second thing of the night was actually the best. It was a really good thing. We have Melo and Miz. Last week they had their matchup, right, and right before Melo got the pin, Miz tagged himself in. And that happened again. This was a really good back and forth between the Motor City Machine Guns and Melo Don't Miz. Throughout the entire match, Miz and Melo are tagging themselves in, with the other just being like, dude, what's up? What's up with that? And before the match also, Fraxium did try to put a wedge between Melo and Miz, and I'm thinking Melo is going to turn on Miz sooner than later, or Miz will turn. Melo's about to become a face. Let's just say that. I don't think that's a good call, but we shall see. If he gets some airtime and some victories, I'm all for it. But so, anyways, Melo Don't Miz versus Motor City Machine Guns. There's a sequence of events that will eventually lead to almost a replay of what happened last week, where Melo gets the main move in, and he's like knocked out of the ropes or out of the ring, and Miz will come in and take the pin. And then Miz is like, I won. He's trying to fist bump Melo. Melo eventually takes the fist bump. They won. Now they're going to be number one contenders, or they're in a number one contenders match. Entertaining match, but the real story here was Melo and Miz. Their interaction, I loved it. Honestly, I kind of wish this team wouldn't break up. I honestly wish they would do this, though, what they're doing right now, for like 6 months. That'd be funny. That would be funny. How many commercials? I think we had 12 commercials. 12 commercials, by the way. 11 or 12. I lost count. The future doesn't have commercials. Then we have Piper Niven versus Chelsea Green. Out of all of the characters who play second fiddle, like they're like the jobber squad, you know how the Secret Service is the jobber squad, and Chelsea's like the star. Like, for some reason, they always let Piper actually win, and Piper won tonight. Piper won, and I'm actually glad about that, because you know what, you want to team up with somebody, a bigger star, to make yourself a big star, and hopefully that's what's happening to Piper, because she's very underrated. Piper beat Charlotte Flair tonight, and she beat Zelina Vega a couple months ago even, so I really dig that. But she still can take losses, like last week to Alexa Bliss, and she won by Chelsea Green raking Charlotte's face when the ref was like talking to Elba Fire. But like, moral of the story here, like, Piper Niven beat Charlotte Flair, all right? Piper Niven beat Charlotte Flair. So remember earlier in the year, Charlotte always wins. She's always this, she's always that. Look at Charlotte now. Literally putting over the mid-card muscle of a group. Because like, Chelsea's the star, but her muscle is in, and Charlotte Flair's putting her over. That's good stuff right there. Thank you, Charlotte, for putting the business above you. Let's see. I got my notes over here or over here. One of the two. Really small writing. That's when Logan Paul comes out, the outsider. There was I forgot to say this. Logan Paul did say, you only got 5 moves of doom. And John Cena at one point was like, whether it's 100 moves, whether it's 5 moves, or whether it's 1 move, and then he gave the middle finger, I'm going to give all. So that was cool. Then Tiffany and Jade, we already talked about that. Drew stops him. The other number one contender match was the Street Profits versus the Bloodline. We got JC Mateo, hate that name, and Tunga Loa. They will be fighting, they will be feuding, they will be whatever. There was a really bad sequence between JC Mateo, his stupid name, and Angelo Dawkins, where they were trading waist locks, and it was so slow. It was so painfully slow. The Street Profits will win because earlier in the show, Big Jim was getting congratulated about, Baby Uso. Solo comes up and says, name him after Uncle Solo. Then Sammy comes up, or I think Sammy came first, whatever the case may be. Sammy's there, and him and Solo, they get into confrontation, and he said, you know what? You're not fighting underdog, Sammy. You're fighting main event, Sammy. So hopefully Sammy not being underdog Sammy will do something, because he's not an underdog. The dude did main event WrestleMania 39. He beat Gunther in his 666-day title reign. Like, the guy's not an underdog. He just knows how to win. Unless it's against giant hands and mouse traps, WrestleMania 38, which was an amazing match. So anyways, the tag team match is happening, and boom, Jimmy Uso attacks Tonga Loa with the chair. Not Tonga Loa, the tall one, tall Tonga, and then tall Tonga chases him out, and then Sammy, hits Solo Sikoa. The Street Profits take advantage. They win. Street Profits versus Melo Miz next week. That's going to be fun. And ever looming is the Wyatt Six, just kind of looking everywhere. Then we have our, Drew McIntyre. He came out. Drew McIntyre comes out, and he's like, what's going on with Cody Rhodes? How come I haven't heard any update from him? And then he starts, I got an update. Cody Rhodes, he's a B-word. And then he just starts making fun of Cody. And if you notice, nobody cares that Cody's gone. Cody just won his second championship after SummerSlam, the biggest event of the summer. And have you noticed that nobody really cares? Cody Rhodes is might even be worse than when people hated him, because nobody's even talking about him now. At least when he was talked about, he was talked about. I don't hear anybody talking about Cody Rhodes. Nobody. If it wasn't for Drew, nobody would care at all, and it just that's pretty scary. Think about that. When was the last time you really had any feeling towards Cody whatsoever? So I don't know. They better do something after this Street Fighter stuff is done. They need to do something. But even worse, it doesn't look like Cody's going to be in Clash of Paris. So much for that John Cena schedule. Because as Drew is making fun of Cody, Randy Orton comes, RKO out of nowhere, boom, looks like that's our match, and it's I guess, Drew can beat Randy and then go on to face Cody, but it's kind of surprising that Cody has just been such, not even an afterthought, a no thought. Cody's been such a no thought since SummerSlam, and, then we have our main event match. It's Becky and Nia. They did mention how Nia is the one who actually created the man by breaking Becky's face. So I like that. And this was the first time they actually aligned with each other. But she did say, you're still my mortal enemy, but we're going to win this. And then Tiffany and Jade, they fought. Yeah, it was just a match. This was this should have been the 9 o'clock hour main event, and the John Cena Logan Paul thing probably should have been the main event, but I understand why they did it, because they had to give Logan Paul his courage back. He had to leave the ring a loser and then get his courage back and then walk out of the show a winner. But at the end of the day, this was just a lame main event. It would have been great. It would have been a great dark match or something because of Becky's star power in Ireland, but whatever the case may be. Tiffany and Jade, they win. And not only do they win, but they do quick hot tags in order to win. So even they're I want to be the champion. No, I want to be the champion. No, I want to be the champion. No, I want to be the champion. And that had nothing. There was no animosity whatsoever. This is just, what is it? Some people call it the gratitude era. This is just, okay, I just respect you. They just fight for belts. There's no heat. There's no hate. I hope Naomi comes back soon. I really hope Naomi comes back soon, because at least Naomi hated everybody. Thanks a lot, Jim. And so, all right. So that's the show. Nick Aldis, we do cut to when I said, remember how I said John Cena got punched out, knocked out, and Logan Paul? Before that, though, Nick Aldis was hey, I just got off the phone with Brock Lesnar, and then that was the end of it. So, yeah. So that's your SmackDown. 3 yawns, 11 or 12 commercials. I'm going to give it a 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Because I didn't hate it. It was just there, though. This is more background stuff. This is more clean your house while this is on, and sit down for the Melo Miz. Sit down for Melo Miz. tag team match. That's it. Everything else you can listen to. And, the R-Truth thing. I did forget the R-Truth thing. R-Truth versus Aleister Black was supposed to happen. R-Truth, though, he's like, oh, man, dog, sorry, but I'm in Dublin, Idaho or something. I didn't know. I thought there was only one Dublin in the world. So he went to the wrong place, but he's like, but I got my friend to come. And then Damian Priest walks out, and they brawl. Okay? They brawl back and forth, all the way to the back. And the moment they're back there, we cut to the announcers. Well, that was something, huh? Anyways, and it's like, I don't know. Sheamus and that's what Sheamus and what's his name? Rusev. That's their whole feud. Just brawl till the back. Lash Legend and Nia. Brawl to the back. Although Lash Legend and Nia was actually entertaining. Shawn Michaels for head booker, please. But then okay. Aleister Black and Damian Priest, they brawl to the back. I would have rather seen Damian Priest and R-Truth, to tell you the truth. Not Damian Priest and R-Truth, Black and R-Truth. So, anyways, I'm going to give it 5 chops. If you want to give it 4, give it 4. If you want to give it 6, give it 6. I wouldn't do 7, though. I probably wouldn't do 3. I can understand 4, 5, or 6. I'll do 5. Middle ground here. Didn't hate it. But, I mean, you could definitely watch the highlights somewhere else. All right, boys. All right, girls. I'll see you later. SmackDown hot takes are up. There's no spoilers right now on it. If you, you shouldn't have watched this. You should not have watched this if you're planning on watching tonight's episode. So, but right now, if you're watching this right now, go leave a hot take. Boys, girls, have yourself a good day.